Okay, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, so everyone take their seat. If you're outside, make your way inside before those doors close. Get your minds ready, and we'll start in 3 minutes, everybody. 3 minutes. All right. How we doing? Everybody doing all right? That was pretty quick 3 minutes, wasn't it? I actually lied. It was a little bit shorter. So how are we doing out there? All right, now look, guys, here, I know it's right after lunch. I know for a lot of you getting ready for Summit, you haven't had carbs in like 3 months and you just had some. So the carb coma might be kicking in. But we've got some good stuff here. So I'm asking you again, I want to kind of get the juices flowing. How are we doing? Okay. How was general session this morning? Did anybody learn anything? Okay, that's what I like to hear. Well, we are so excited. Welcome to your first day of workshops. Now, what a cool experience this is, you guys. You guys get to hear from 6 of the most successful coaches on the network. They're going to come out here and talk to you about some key things to help you move your business forward. Is that exciting? Do you think you guys can engage with these guys? Because I'm telling you, they've prepared really hard to share some really important pieces of information for you. And I promise you that if you'll invest in them, if you'll stay engaged with them, that you are going to come out of here much better prepared, okay? Much better prepared to be a successful coach. Now, to get started, I'm very, very excited to be able to bring up our first set of presenters. We all know the importance of dense nutrition. We all know the importance and the value of that is in getting results, okay? And the connection that has between the efforts we put in and then the results that we get out, feeding our body right. But sometimes we forget also what the impact is on our business from building relationships, all right, and really making those connections. And we've got some phenomenal speakers to be able to share that information with you today. So first, let me bring out Darin, the formulator of Shakeology and our new amazing boosts. Okay, where's Darin? He's somewhere out here. Okay. And Darin, in addition to Darin, and he's somewhere backstage. Is he coming? You lost him? He's good? Come on out, Darin. Okay. We also have Melissa McAllister. Some of you heard of Melissa. Okay. And we also have then Meg Wiczynski. All right. Now, obviously, let me tell you a little bit about these coaches. Melissa McAllister right here. Superstar Diamond 2 coach. Okay. Superstar Diamond, yeah. 2014 top 10 elite coach. That's a pretty big deal. And she's also a 5-time elite coach, all right? 2015 Coach Advisory Board member, and she's also a Success Club 10 legend. So you can imagine her lanyard is really long, okay, when she has to walk around. Now, Meg, right here, Meg Wiczynski, a lot of you know Meg. Really, these coaches don't need any introduction, do they? She is an 11-star diamond coach, 2014 elite coach, okay? And she's achieved the elite coach status 3 times. And she's also part of our Millionaires Club, okay? So these are some incredible experts, and I'm so excited to share that with you. So you guys come on over here and have a seat right over here. And Darin, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, thank you. Everyone hear me okay? How's it going? Summit going okay? Bunch of crazy, humid sweaters out there. Hey, so I'm excited. This is my love, obviously, superfood, Shakeology, health. And to get to share it with you guys is fantastic. You know, I'm going to take you back a second in the start of how this was created for me. When Carl and essentially Isabel hired me to formulate, I then had to, when Carl said, listen, don't worry about quality or price, or actually worry about quality. Don't worry about price or any of that stuff. Do it how you're supposed to do it, and let me worry about backing into the cost. And come on, that's an amazing opportunity. So from my point of view and my background, I then had to ask myself one of the most important questions for Shakeology, and that was, what do we require in this day and age to be healthy? And also with that, what are we lacking? And we have genetically modified food. We have food that we have abundance of, but is nutrient starved. We have environmental toxins. 70,000 toxins are being emitted in our atmosphere every year. We have pharmaceutical drugs showing up in our water. We have electromagnetic fields that we've never had in human history. We have all of this stress that's hitting us. All of that actually leads to more nutrient demands. We need more nutrient-dense foods just by that alone. Now, if you understand, let's see if that works. See if that works. Okay, the clicker doesn't work, but next. Okay, so the other side of it, in 1936, the Congress was informed by the agricultural community that the land was micronutrient depleted, and that 99% of Americans were depleted in minerals because of our soils. That was in 1936. The writing was on the wall. So then in 1992 at the Earth Summit, not only did they say, hey, what they were saying in 1936 was correct, and it's actually exponentially worse. And then News Canada in 2003 took individual vegetables and fruits, and they took a regular potato, and in only 50 years, our vitamin A had dropped by 100%. Our vitamin C had dropped by 50%, and all of these vegetables they kept testing were devoid. So that's a big problem, don't you think? And so this was, let me see here. This was the reason why, yeah, it's empty now, isn't it? This is awesome. Talk about being in the moment. But essentially, this is the situation. You have all of these needs that we have because of this kind of this fatal conveniences we have, right? Because we can go and get all this food, but yet it's not that great. The quality, standard American diet, I'm sorry, is leading to chronic disease. Do you really want to follow that path? We need to actually jump in there, take responsibility, and do something. So, I don't even know what these slides are. That's kind of funny. The reality is that this is where we started from. This is where the information of formulation came from because we need this. At this day and age, we need this. So, that started informing why we need. What is Shakeology? Well, it's certainly not artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners. It's none of that stuff. It's nutrient-dense food from around the world that have been proven for sometimes 20, 30,000 years of use. So because of the situation we're in, fly around the world to figure out who and what these people have been doing so that we can mimic that. It may be a nice little pretty, bag of stuff, but in fact, there's a real reason. There we go. There's a real reason why some of this is in there, because we're filling this void. And this is where Shakeology really stepped in. It's the missing link that we need to bridge the gap between this nutrient-starved, cellularly starved, overfed, undernourished population. Look around, man. Look around at the standard American model. Look at the failing healthcare systems. The writing is on the wall. So Shakeology is there as a delivery system of some of this most amazing food in the world. It's not just an exotic story that I get to travel around. There's literally a mission behind it. The cool thing, too, is the success of Shakeology has only led to greater and greater research, greater and greater quality assurance, and greater ability for us to go out and find those things. At first, it was kind of a Wild West when it was me and a few people, but now we have this robust team that we can absolutely make sure that what is in that bag is in that bag, and how it is used like they used it indigenously. We very carefully from the ground all the way to the bag, and making sure that quality is there and the compounds that are there, the micronutrients that they said in 1936 were gone from our food, are there. And that to me is something really important. The biggest thing that we have to emphasize, we need to lead with health. Don't get caught in this fad thing. There's a reason why you want to drink Shakeology every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade. Are you going to stop eating your apple? Why do you say apple a day keeps the doctor away? It's because those things added up over time keeps the doctor away. So don't get caught in this fad thing. Lead with your health, and the reality is you'll get everything else. The body sheds weight when it's healthy. It doesn't have pain. It recovers fast. And it gives you the energy to respond to life rather than being a victim of life. So I'm going to pass the mic over to these lovely women, and they're going to give you some more really powerful stuff to help you be a stronger advocate for this amazing delivery system of Shakeology. Thank you.
Thank you, Darin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Darin, check your Facebook messages.
Yeah, why?
Don't you think he'd make a good coach?
No. Him and I were talking backstage about that. You're mine, right?
All right.
Could you imagine having that man as your coach? Which brings us to our presentation, and we want to start by asking you a question. How would you rate your Shakeology product knowledge? And I want you to raise your hand if you're a number 5 and you think I know almost as much as Darin Olien. All right, number 4, I'm confident enough to talk about it.
Wow.
Okay, how about 3? I know enough to sell a challenge pack. Yeah?
I thought so.
Uh-oh, hope we don't see very many hands. But number 2, I know a little. Okay, and the last one, I'm afraid I don't know much. Be honest. That's why you're here, though, right? Absolutely.
So, guys, we surveyed 1,000 coaches, and we asked them, is enough really enough? And 86% of them said, I know enough to sell Shakeology as a challenge pack. So how many of you raised your hand thinking, yeah, I can sell a challenge pack? All right, you're not alone because the majority of coaches think that.
All right, I'm gonna let all of those go up there, and I want you to take a picture of that to share with your coaches, your downline, because Shakeology is tied to everything. And I hope Darin has left the stage, because I have to ask you, how many of you, please raise your hands for me if you drink coffee? Thank you. Now, will you put your hands back up for me, and put your hand down if you walk into Starbucks and you buy something without buying coffee? Not that many hands went down. They have excellent cake pops, and they have pretty good pumpkin bread, right? But their flagship, the reason why they're so popular and that they have made lifers out of their customers is because of their coffee. And you know, we're no different than that. We have excellent products, but us, especially as coaches, the product that we really need to dive into is our Shakeology.
So guys, a couple things that we want to make sure you take back from this, because our point is to help you create loyal, long-lasting customers on Shakeology. So first I want to see a hand of who wants that. Who wants all of their customers to stay on? Yeah, I thought everyone should have their hand up, seriously. We want you to feel more confident talking about Shakeology. You don't have to be a Darin Olien, but there's ways that you can educate yourself so that you can go out and talk to your customers about Shakeology. We also want you to be able to handle objections, because let's be real, people get a little confused with the pricing, right? Yeah, that's probably the main objection. So our goal is to be able to help you to understand why we are selling Shakeology. And then we also want you to know how to feel comfortable that your coaches and customers are going to stay on Shakeology.
All right, so both Meg and I are mama bears, and we really want to take care of you. And our goal today is to make sure that you leave here with some strategies and some resources to feel more comfortable about your Shakeology. And I don't like to give people just a bunch of facts all the time about products and stuff, because sometimes it gets over their head. So what I try to do is I try to relate real life to something that has to do with the business. So I have a visual for you, and please know that I don't carry this around with me. I usually describe it, but I brought a visual for you today because I'm hoping that it will help when somebody, and raise your hand if you've ever heard this, well, how is Shakeology different than my protein powder? Right? All right, so I have a visual for this. I tell you, she crazy.
Oh.
All right, so I went shopping, and I went to the dollar store, and I bought myself some dollar toilet paper. Can you see Meg through that dollar toilet paper? Absolutely. This is the toilet paper from my house. It's a little bit better quality. Just saying, I drink my Shakeology. But what I want you to know is they're packaged the same, right? They tell you that they do the same thing. This one cost about a third as much as this one. But what's the difference? You are going to have to use a whole lot more of that one to get the same effect as you would this one, right? How many of you have gone into, hopefully you're at a nice hotel this time, but have gone into a place and you've gotten toilet paper like that and you're like, oh no. And you got this huge wad, right? And you feel so sorry for the digestive system of the hotel because of all of that. Well, use visuals like this because it's lighthearted, but it gets the point across, right? I hope. Look at all that, see?
I know, that's a lot of toilet paper. Okay, guys, so how to become more confident talking about Shakeology. What we want you to know is that it's not going to be mastered in one day. I'm still educating myself every single day. Even being up here listening to Darin Olien, I was like, wow, I didn't know that. You know, and I've been practicing this for, 2 months? You guys, there's stuff you're going to be learning all the time, and that's okay. But we want you to know that as you're learning, be open to sharing with people what you're learning, okay? Because they don't know. They don't know if you're going to just have a regular protein shake and Shakeology and why it's different. Bring it back to the toilet paper. We also want to show you and kind of explain what we do in order to keep ourselves up on information about Shakeology. You don't have to spend hours upon hours learning about Shakeology, but if you can add in just 5 minutes a day, and we're going to give you some resources at the end that you can go back to immediately after this and check out, but just 5 minutes a day to educating yourself on the #1 product in Beachbody, not only is your business going to grow, but you're going to be helping your customers so much more.
Yeah, were you at the general session, I hope? And you got to listen to Christine Dwyer and Melanie Mitro and Lindsay Matway, and you look at these incredible leaders. And I know that the summit really attracts a lot of newer coaches and a lot of Emerald coaches. And you may go and look at that stage and think, how am I ever going to be able to lead like those women do? But I'm here to tell you they were exactly where you were. And so you are going to become a great leader yourself by doing things like personal development every day. And Shakeology is no different. Every single day, or a little bit longer maybe during the weekends with a cup of coffee, go and learn about Shakeology, and before you know it, you will be so comfortable with the product that everything that you say and do will roll off your tongue, and you will be considered a leader with your Shakeology.
Absolutely. Okay. So we wanted to go over some of the things that you may have seen about Shakeology. Shakeology does so many different things for us, but one of the things it does is it reduces junk food cravings. You know, obviously I'm pregnant, and I've had a lot of people say, wow, you look so tiny. How are you that far along? Well, I'm not having crazy junk food cravings, guys. And I have to say, Shakeology can help you with that. You know, it helps you make better food choices.
Yeah, and which one do you think I'm going to pick? I'm the girl who pulled out the toilet paper. So it supports your digestion and your regularity. Duh. So, you know, it really can help with constipation. I just said constipation on a stage with 6,000 people.
It does, guys. Let's be real.
Who knew? And also that it helps with absorbing nutrients. And I was backstage talking to Darin about that. And I'm like, you know, we always talk about the scrub brush and how Shakeology is kind of a scrub brush through your body. But specifically, what does it do to help with absorbing nutrition? And he said between the pro and prebiotics and the digestive enzymes, it just makes your body function better as a whole. And I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, and because of that, you know, most people come in wanting to lose weight, but because it reduces junk food cravings and helps with the regularity, it in turn does help you lose weight. So while your customers are going through all these other changes with their bodies, they're gonna naturally lose weight. Bonus, right?
All right, that's a lot of information right there. Mm-hmm. Do I have any platinum presenters out there by chance? Yeah?
Yeah!
Well, it was probably, gosh, I don't know, 3 years ago that I got the opportunity to speak at the Platinum Edge, and I spoke about nutrition. And Shakeology was one of the things that I highlighted. And when you look at all of that, and then someone says, well, how can you tell me how Shakeology is different than what I'm drinking right now? Are you gonna be able to remember all of that? And even if you remember most of it, the one thing that you really want them to know, you're gonna forget. So a long time ago, I created an acronym that I still use today, and I still have people that will message me and say, it's been so handy, and so I wanna teach it to you, and it may work for you and it may not, but it's 3P VMADE. 3P VMADE, MADE. And it stands for the 3 Ps, of course. It's pre and probiotics, phytonutrients, and protein. So 3P. The V and the M for VMADE is vitamins and minerals. The A is for adaptogens and antioxidants. And the D and E is for digestive enzymes. So if you just memorize that acronym, and it's how it got me through school, acronyms, 3P VMADE, protein, phytonutrients, probiotics, prebiotics, vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, antioxidants, and digestive enzymes. That's what makes it different. People will be like, okay. And it's much easier to remember than to try to memorize that slide that you see right there. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, it's not just protein. Think of it to the YMCA, like 3VP made. Yeah. Think of it that way, guys.
We were going to have you sing it.
I'm serious. We were going to do the motions.
3PV made. 3PVMADE.
Melissa Made, guys, on Instagram. MADE. MADE.
That's a coincidence, I swear.
Okay, guys, so like we talked about personal development, every single day you're going to be learning a little more about Shakeology starting today, right? And we want you to be sharing as you're learning. And we're giving you so many resources throughout this that you can go and find on your app. So you see the health assessment. We're going to have some questions on the next slide that are health assessment questions you can ask your customers, but you can actually find them on the Summit app. But we want to make sure that you understand the person's needs, okay? We want to know, there's so many different things that can happen with Shakeology. You need to know exactly what they need. Maybe they do need some help with digestion. They might need it. I know I definitely did before. So, let's see if it goes. Here's some examples of the health assessment questions. Now, Melissa and I wanted to go through and just share our number one question, okay? For me, I love to ask people, what are you trying to accomplish? It's one of the first questions I ask them once I know that they're interested, because from that point, I can go through the other questions and find out really if it is the best for them, and then figure out what program, and really tie it to their why as to why Shakeology is going to help them, besides just weight loss.
In my personal favorite happens to be the bottom one. What have you tried in the past? Because let's get real, especially in this room, there are a lot of gimmicks. There's a lot of quick fixes out there, and they've probably tried them all. And so let them get it off their chest. This is what I've tried. This has failed for me. I failed. And they're going to tell you how many times they failed, and it gives you the opportunity to look them in the eye and say, guess what? You're not going to fail this time because we're different. So you talk about Shakeology and how Shakeology in itself is different, but not only that, they're going to be put in, an accountability group where they're going to have other people and they're going to get great support. And the icing on the cake is they get you, so they get Shakeology, which is wonderful. They get a group, which is going to help them through it, and then they get you to make sure that they succeed. So that's my favorite question for sure.
Absolutely, and that ties in, if you guys were there last night, how Carl was talking about all those every customer matters, and going through the coach and what their customer had to say about them. It goes along exactly with what Melissa was saying. Okay, so now we're going to share with you what you can share with people. Now, we were going to each go through a little story about Shakeology, but we don't have enough time. So what I wanted you to know is there's another session after this that's called Leveraging the Power of Your Story with some awesome speakers. And as you're listening to that, I want you to think about how you can start talking to people about Shakeology and your story. Because if you sat there and thought, just for a second, why you drink Shakeology. Hopefully it's not just because you need 90 PV, but because it's something that makes you feel good. I know for me, it gives me the energy I need through my pregnancy, and it's amazing. So for me, I want to keep getting more people on it, okay? So you need to know your story. Come on. Oh, and we also have our top 5 blog articles. We gave you so many resources, guys, on that Summit app. Our top 5 blog articles. And like we said, 5 minutes of personal development every single day. You can just go look at those top 5 blogs and read through them, and then start kind of weaving them into your Facebook posts, okay? You want to make sure that you're giving quality with your Shakeology posts.
Yeah, and we also wanted to pick our top video, our tips for you. And all 5 of these are wonderful. If you have not watched all 5, number 1, I want you to watch them because you learned so much by watching them. And if you haven't watched them in a while, revisit them. And 2, they do all of the work for you. They're incredibly entertaining. People watch them and they're entertained by them, and it usually answers most of their questions. So when someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm really interested in Shakeology, and you ask those assessment questions, you're going to find out what it is exactly that they want Shakeology for, and then one of these 5 videos is going to answer all of their questions for them, and all you have to do, as I always say, is be the heart of the business, because they've just gotten all the facts.
Absolutely. And who liked the Tony Horton video last night? Yeah, you can use that one too once you know it's good for them, right? Okay, so we did a little bit of research, and we wanted to give you 2 ingredients that you can go back and share with people. For me and for the women in here, sorry guys, you know in pregnancy you get really tired, right? And your immune system slows down a little bit. There's actually something in Shakeology called bilberries, okay? Bilberries. And what it is it has 4 times the amount of antioxidants and anthocyanins. Try spelling that. Anthocyanins than blueberries. It's also loaded in vitamin C, so it's going to keep your immune system up, especially when you're traveling. Hopefully you've all drank your Shakeology because traveling definitely affects your immune system. And it also has helped with eye health, cardiovascular health, as well as, like I said, your immune system and the circulation in your body, okay?
Yes, and I chose the yacon root. You all know, where did I just say? I just told you where I'm from. Yeah, that the yacon berry, I got that in my mind. Now, the yacon root is used to sweeten Shakeology, and I think everybody knows that. But did you also know, which is one of my favorite things about Shakeology, is it's just not in there because it's a natural sweetener, but it also has been proven in human studies to have beneficial effects on both obesity and insulin resistance. Is that not the majority of our population these days? Mm-hmm. It helps with obesity and insulin resistance. That's huge, huge.
That's awesome. And it's sweet, so that's even better. Okay, so follow up, guys. Follow up. You probably hear this from your upline coach all the time. In order to have someone become a challenger or a coach, you have to follow up with them. I know my coach had to bring it up to me several times before I decided to actually sign up. And so we want you to be following up with your Shakeology customers. And not just Shakeology, but all of your customers in general. But you have to do this in 2 different ways. Okay, and this is something that Melissa and I both do. You have to be doing it on a one-on-one basis, okay? And so what I usually do is maybe once a week, I will message each of my challengers in my group and say, hey, how are things going? How are you liking the Shakeology? How are you feeling? Is the recipes that you're doing okay? And sometimes you might have some people that say, oh, I hate the taste, right? And you're like, are you crazy, right? So what I usually do if someone says that, I'm not like, oh, they're going to get off Shakeology. I say, okay, let me figure out a recipe that's going to work for you. Or maybe try the sample packs so you can try the different flavors from Shakeology. Because I know for me personally, and hopefully I don't get stones, sometimes strawberry is not my favorite, but vegan Shakeology is my favorite. Who likes vegan Shakeology? I thought. So I make sure that they know that there's different choices. They don't have to just stick with that one flavor. I also make sure that I'm following up with them in, let's see, come on. Boom. Okay. But you also want to make sure that you are connecting it back to their why, okay? When you're talking with them one-on-one, you want to connect it back to their why, not just the weight loss. Maybe they did get deep enough to tell you that they were having some digestive issues. Make sure that they're noticing that those might be going away. We also have another resource for you. I know you love resources that you can just take back and plug into your business as soon as we are finished with this, right? The engagement questions that you can be asking people one-on-one or actually in a challenge group setting, okay? So make sure you're following up with them in a one-on-one basis as well as in the challenge group. In a challenge group, with the whole group, you can ask questions, that we'll get into, but you can also kind of look at one ingredient like we did, bilberries, yacon root, and then the other 68 ingredients in Shakeology, and kind of highlight what it does for people so they understand why they're drinking it, okay? So some of the engagement questions, we're not going to go through all of them. You guys can take a quick look at it. There's also a ton of them in the Summit app, along with the blog articles and the videos, and assessment questions. God, they're getting a lot. Yeah. So these are some of the questions that we like asking. And what I was really amazed with my customers is when I ask them about, are you drinking less energy drinks? Like, are you drinking less caffeine? And I always get people who are like, oh yeah, before I was drinking 6 cups of coffee, and now I'm down to 2 or 3, or I'm not drinking it at all. And they don't think about it. They don't realize that Shakeology is giving them the energy that they need to sustain through the day.
Yes, and of this list right here, my favorite is, what meal do you replace with Shakeology? Not really, because I care. It leads me to do a comparison for them, because I think what most people do not realize about Shakeology is if they take a salad, say for instance, and they replace their salad with a Shakeology, that they're getting so much more dense nutrition per calorie than they are even with a salad. So people are like, I'm eating a salad, I'm doing so well. Yes, you are. But do you know that even by replacing that salad with the Shakeology, that you are getting a ton more nutrition than you are in that salad in less calories? And I think when people really realize that, and I always tell them, I am not here to make you skinny. That is not my goal. My goal is to make you healthy. And by making you healthy, you might lose weight. But I am here to make you healthy, not skinny. And so when people either starve themselves or they're thinking that they have to chew their food, for me to get the opportunity to tell them how densely nutritious Shakeology is, and if they replace any meal, no matter how healthy they think that it is, it just can't match. Shakeology, bless you.
I hope you guys wrote that down, okay? Okay, guys, so we're getting close to the end of our session, and something that we want to really focus on is to just look at that slide, okay? Obviously, the theme this year is everyone matters, right? So every customer matters. Yes, Shakeology is tied to everything with Success Club and commission and everything like that, but people are so much more than just a point. We have to figure out how we can get them healthy. No, we're not trying to get them skinny. We're trying to get them healthy. Okay, so when you approach your customers, think about that. Every single one of them. Really connect with them. And if they're struggling with the cost, or they're struggling with some issues of liking the flavors or whatever, really spend your time helping them understand how they can start liking it, because not only is it tied to everything, but you're going to be helping that person get healthier every single day. Oh, so, sorry guys. So we want another slide just to look at it. I want to just pause for maybe a couple seconds and just look at that slide. Read it. How would your world be different if every single person stayed on Shakeology? I'm sure everyone has different ideas of how your life would be different, but we have to say, yeah, it's going to be very, very different if every single person stayed on Shakeology. If you take the things that we've taught you in this and apply it to your business immediately, you are going to be surprised at how many more customers are staying on Shakeology, how many more coaches are staying on Shakeology.
Yeah, Darin talked about this at the beginning. Think about our healthcare. Think about how people would look, how people would feel, how people would treat one another if they just ate or drank a little bit healthier every single day. Change the world.
Absolutely. So we wanted to do something fun. Something
Yes,
fun.
Absolutely.
You want me to say it, or you want me to say it?
I'll say it.
Okay.
How many of you, please raise your hand if you would say, you know what? I could never stand up on the stage. Raise your hand. Keep your hand raised if you think, you know what, I'm saying I could never stand up on the stage, but maybe one day.
Come on. There's got to be a lot more hands. Oh, that's awesome, you guys.
Yeah. Come here.
Come on. There you go.
Pretty awesome, right? Yes. Wouldn't you like to see her speaking up here soon?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so we want to close again with a question. Now, I know this is kind of a vacation. It's a working vacation, but I'm going to ask you a very hard question. If I were to set out a really long table, Meg and I are standing right here, and you had to come up here and put every single thing that you ate and drank from last Friday until today across that table, what would it say about you?
I love the laughs. At least you're honest, right?
Right? Right? And we're coaches, right? We are an example, but we're not perfect. My husband just got done eating a hamburger and fries down at the hotel. There he is. We're not perfect. But even us as coaches, if you laid out everything we had for a whole week, there would be voids, right? So one last question. If you were looking at your diet for the last week, would Shakeology help?
So guys, thank you so much for giving us, 45 minutes of your time. You're all amazing. You're an amazing audience. And we want to make sure that you came away with some takeaways. And, we were both saying, our biggest thing is we want to make sure that you have a couple ahas, that we're not wasting your time. So if you guys got something, can you just raise your hand? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you so much. Oh, you guys are sweet. Thank you so much. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of Summit. Make sure you take everything in, especially if it's your first Summit. And, don't be afraid to go up and talk to people. If there's someone that you're like, I wish I could talk to Melissa, go up and talk to her, because we're real people too. So, guys, have a wonderful, what's today, Friday? Friday, have a wonderful Friday! Bye, guys.
Can we give him one more round of applause? A big one. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that was pretty cool. And I want you to know that as I was sitting over there listening and she asked me to think about all the food I ate, there was part of me that kind of wanted to hide somewhere, right? I mean, I'm glad I'm drinking Shakeology every day. And I definitely will not look at toilet paper the same ever again. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're having a little break, 15-minute break. Now, break does not mean leave here, go to your hotel, take a nap, and try to come back. 15-minute break just means hang around. We'll give you a 5-minute warning before we get started again, but kind of refresh yourself because we got some phenomenal information coming your way about mindset, getting yourself ready to be a successful coach with your mind. So see you guys in 15 minutes.